welcome to the first video tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up from where we ended last week. Last week in class we learned how to create a data collection app using the product called Survey123 for ArcGIS, and for that we use the web version of that to create that app. So if you recall, this is how it looked like. On the website is survey123.ign.com. We created an app and we're able to access it off on our phone. And then we went out to do the data collection, and then we came back into the office, to the classroom to take a look at it. And this was my sample data that I did. Um, as I said, I have some poor internet connection in my hotel room. But anyway, so you can see this is the one that the example of the data that I collected. You can see the picture and the location of the point and all that. So what I wanted to do today is to learn what we call the Connect version of Survey123, which is the desktop version that allows you to create a little bit more complex surveys. So to do that, go to Survey123 website, so survey123.igns.com, and then go on the help. And then when you go on the help, you can see there's a download button over here. If you click on that, that is going to open up another page. And then on the other page, what you can do is you can download the Windows version of that. So download this guy and then install it. And then once you have that installed, you'll be able to do what I'm about to do. Now, the other thing you can also install is this is the Connect, but this is the software, the app itself. So here, if you want to simulate your surveys from a phone-looking device, you can install this. So what it will allow you to do is that when you are done creating a survey, you can actually log into this app, which is also installed on your computer, and it will mimic a screen of a mobile phone, so you can test it to see how it works. So you can also install that as well, and then I'll show you how those two work. So in my case, I have downloaded Survey123, and when you are done installing it, you're going to see it's going to create these two icons for you. And then when you are done, you should be able to see, and you launch it, you will be able to see. On the right hand side, you can see there's a little icon over there. Click on that and then sign in using your ArcGIS Online account, the same one we used last week in class. Okay, now when that is done, you need to go in and do and then this is how we are going to create the new survey. So on the new survey, you click on the survey, so double click on that to launch a new survey, and then it's going to ask you for the form. So here we are going to say campus light. Actually, let me take the underscore. Campus light inventory, and then let me put my initial so I know it's me. All right, so now here on the survey form, there are different options you can use. So if you want to start a new survey, pretty much it's a form that you're going to design. There are templates you can use. You can also generate some from an example. So examples will give you a bunch of different examples that people have already created. So here, if I'm looking, we talk about, I'll tell you more about appearance is the look and feel of the form. If you want to build something that has like an autocomplete, so for instance, if I want people to start typing in a street name, and then automatically if it autocompletes for them, I can use this one as a sample, as a template to start with my survey. If I want to create something that would do a barcode scanner, I can grab this one and use it. So these are various samples that can give you an idea how those forms are going to look like. So let's create one and then we'll come through. The second one, the third one we have over here is the community. The community are different forms that people have already created that they are sharing. So some are done by Esri, and then some are done by users. So here, if I am doing some work with police and they want to build a survey form that can be used for arrest form, they can grab that and use it. So you can take a look at the different surveys that has been created, and if something is in line with what you are trying to do, you can also grab that and be able to use that for it. And then obviously this is for my own survey from my organization. Later on we will talk about future service, and then we'll deal with the file. So for here, when we go to the templates, even in the templates, there are two types of template. We have the advanced and then we have the basics. So here I'm going to start you with the advanced one. All right. So select the advanced and then click on create. And then when you do that, it will start creating the XLF form for you, which I say looks like it will give you something like that. And then it's also going to give you an Excel looking form. So here, this is a simple form that it gives you. It creates that simple form for you, and then it will launch up an Excel as well. Close this guy. No. Yep. So now you can see I have my. Okay, let me accept the terms so you can allow me to do my work. Come on, here we go. All right. So now you can see I have my Excel, and the way this thing works is very simple. So here you can see on the form has the word example, and then when you come over here you have the word the label example, and then this is the field name, and then this is the type of information that will be stored in that form. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to build the same logic as we did for the web one, where we were going out to do an inventory of street of lights on campus. So for instance, you see this example, it says text is a field type that we are going to collect, and then the name of the field is called example. So in our case, we are going to call it, let's call it poll ID. And then the label, we are going to say the label will be poll space ID. And I can put comma. And then when I do that and I hit on save over here, you're going to see that it is going to change the form also. It will rebuild the form. And now I have poll ID. Okay. Now, when we come to the next one, so when I go on the next line I want to say I want that to be, so here you have the different types. Under the types, when you click the drop down, it's going to give you the different drop down. So here I can say the next one I want it to be a date. So here I'm going to call it inspection date for the name, and then call it inspection date, and that will be for my second. So here I hit on save again, and you can see once you hit on the save, the form is going to recompile for you. So even if you do a mistake, it will automatically show you that you've done a mistake, and then you can fix it before you proceed. So the next one we want to do is, let's call it poll type. So here the poll type, remember in class we said it's going to be, it can be multiple choice. So here on the down, you can see there's a tab called choices, and then there's settings, and then there are types. The choices is where we build the choice list of what we wanted to show on the drop down. So here we are going to go over here and say the poll type should be, before we do that, let's go to the choice tab. So here it gives you some examples of how you can build a choice. So the name, this name will have to repeat itself. So if I have 4 choices, the name has to be consistent. I can't change it, but if the list name can be changed, it has to be consistent for all the choice, but the name field can change. All right, and the label will also change. So for instance, I want to say my list name is going to be poll type, and then the first one is going to be metal, and then the label is also going to be metal. And then my second one will also be a pole type, so I'll repeat the name, pole type, but then this time it's going to be wood, and then this one is going to be wood. All right, and then the third type of pole, the list will also be the same, but then this guy is going to be concrete, right? So if I say this guy is going to be concrete, then this guy is going to be concrete. Now, so I have three types that I have over here that I've created, right? Now, when I save this guy and then I go back to my survey tab here, now I can build a type, a question that says I want a what? A select one list. So if I say select one, when I say select one, look at the name. It's going to give me select underscore one in bracket list underscore name. What I want to do over here is I want to remove the bracket, and then you want to repeat the name you gave it over here exactly as you have it. So here mine is Paul with a P being capital and type being capital. So when I come over here, I'll remove everything in the bracket, everything including the bracket, and then I'll type exactly the same type over here, and I'll hit on enter. It will give you this one and say yes to it to continue. And now here you can now go in and say I want to call this guy pole type, and then here I'll give it space and call it pole type. And now when you hit on save on the form, you are going to see that it's now going to give you that drop down option of how to create that list. So now you can see it gives you one option of selecting one or the other. And I will show you how to do the formatting if you don't want it to show up that way. But you can see now it gives you the select one option. And that is how you create that. You first have to go to the list choice, create the list, and then come to the survey, and then select, and then type in the exact name of what you call the list field. Okay. So the next one the next question we wanted to ask was, say, we have the pole type. We want to find the number of heads, right? So we say the lights on campus can be single, double, or one, two. I think maximum that we have is 4. So what we can do is we can also create another one, another um, choice to say it's either 1 or 2 or 4. So here, let's create another list and call it heads. Okay, and then here is going to be 1, 1, and then here, because we are doing 4, I'll just count 4 and put them ahead, and then just go 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4, and then 4 as well. So now I'm saying I'm going to create a question. That question is also going to be select 1, and then here is going to be called, so remove that and call it has. Say yes, and then call it has. And then you can call it other, say, pole heads if you want to be more, and then hit on save. And then so here it's supposed to also give us that the pole is either, the number of pole heads is 1, 2, 3, or 4 heads. So that's how we create that. All right, so the next one we wanted to create was actually pole ID, and then we said we wanted to have in the control room. So here let's create a field, and then that's going to be a text field, and then we will just call it control. If you remember, the poles, each of them had a room that controls that particular pole. So we'll say control room. Okay, and then when we hit on save, so as we are building the form, you can be saving to see how the form is going to look like. All right, so the next one we wanted to build was the light was, the bulb was LED or not. So it's also going to be yes, no. And if you see the examples they gave us, they already gave us a yes, no, but we will create our own. So let's just call this guys here LED, and then it's going to be two LEDs. So as either going to be a yes, a yes, a yes. Oh no, no, and no. We could have used the one that is already here, but I just want us for practice. I want us to create our own. So here we'll call it another list. Select one. And then here is going to be called remove the brackets and everything. Call it LED. Yes. We'll call it LED. Then LED status. So when we save this guy here, you can see that the LED one is also going to come in and show us whether the pole has an come on. And that's advantage of saving this guys is just in case like what this guy is doing, even if he it crashes, our chances of recovering from where we started is good because we've been saving it as we go along. And that's one of the things I will advise you guys to do is saving that as you go along. So you can see that now we have the LED status also coming in as yes or no. All right, so the next one we wanted to do was we wanted to find out the pole condition. So the pole condition was also going to be um, one, whether we want the pole to be good or bad. So we also first let's go to the list and then create a and call it condition, right? So we'll say condition of pole, and then we'll say that was going to be we want it to be good, bad, and then we'll just say needs replacement. So here my advice is this will be the field name because in GIS we can't have space. You can always use put the words together as one or just put an underscore, and the labels is what the end user is going to see. So now that we have a condition field, we can go back to the survey and then pick up select one and then change this guy here, call it condition with the same spelling. Yes, and then we'll call it condition. And okay, what did I do? Let's just call it pole condition. And then pole condition. I think the word condition is hard coded for the program, so it's conflicting that. So do that. All right, and then the next thing we wanted to do, so here, if we save this guy, we should also see that save that and show me my form. Now you should see that my form should now have my pole condition as well. Okay, good. All right, so the next thing we wanted to do was let's add in what did we say we wanted to combine? Pole ID, that pole type, that's wooden condition. Okay, so we want to put in the location. So to do the location, we can pick up the geo point. So pick up the geo point and then give it a title, call it location. location. Now when we save that as well, we'll see that it's going to insert the map for us. So now on our data, we can now see that we have a location embedded in it. That means we can grab the geometry from your device. Okay, so the next thing we wanted was to add in nodes. And as you can see, there are different types over here, and I'll show you how we add some of those in subsequent class. But here, let's add in the nodes, and then we'll call this guy comments, and then comments. Okay, don't save, and basically we have the form built the way we want. But then what we're going to do, actually, let's add in one. Let's call this guy here. Let's create another one and call it inspectors. So here we'll call it, give it my name, then my name, and then let's pick in another inspector. Let's call him John. Another inspector, James, and then let's pick another random inspector and call him Victor. Okay, so now here, when we go over here, inspectors can be multiple. So here I'm going to show you how we create the multiple list. So you choose the multiple list, and then the same thing as we did for the single select, we are going to go in and call it the same name as we did on the choice list. Say yes to that, and then call it inspector. All right, and now when we hit on save, we should be able to see that now we have inspectors that we can select the multiple inspectors that did the work. All right, so a couple of things that we can do before we finish up this is here in the connect, we have a couple of additional fields that comes in that we don't get from the online. So we have hint, constraint message, required. So if we want a field to be required, for instance, if I want the PO ID to be required, I'll click on that and say I want the PO ID to be required, meaning that, and then I can say the location also has to be required. So I'll come over here and make the, so here, the same thing we did in the online, you have to make a requirement that message has to be given in order for you to submit a survey. The other thing I want to show you over here is the appearance. So the appearance determines how the data display. So for instance, if we take a look at, let's go over here to the first one. On the poll type, we can say we want it to be a drop down. So if we want it a drop down, so the poll type, which is this guy here, when we go on appearance, we can change the appearance to different format. So here, if I say I want it to be minimal, take a look at how it's going to look like. So I'll say minimal, and then I'll hit on save. And then we'll take a look at how it looks like, and then you can play with that and see, build it away. So if I say minimal, now you can see that it hides it, and then now I have to click the drop down, then I see it. All right, so you can see that's how the appearance, this is how the appearance works. So the next one is the poll heads. So the poll heads, if I want the poll heads to say, let's try this one here, try that, and then you take a look and see. But what I would say is that you want to use this based on the phone you are going to use. So if I'm going to use iPhone, this might not be good because the iPhone screen is not that big enough. If I'm going to use iPads, this will work. So you just have to be a little cautious on the methods that you're going to use to create that. The same with the LED status, I can say I want that to also be minimal. And then for instance, even the date, I can come to the date and say I want the date to be just the month and year, or if I want something else, so I would say I want it to, and then if I do that, I can see my date will also be formatted differently. That's how the date is also now being formatted. So you have an idea. You can play with the rest and see. Poll condition, I can say I want that to be minimal as well. What else again? Inspectors, I can say I want the inspectors to be minimal as well. Save that. Then we can take a look, and let's take a look. And now you can see your forms are all collapsing to make it even. So even if you have a long form and you are building it using this method, the form can be condensed enough to make it reasonable for people to use. So that is the appearance form. Default, we can also set default read only, means you just want people to be able to read, but you don't want them to be able to edit. So you can do that. We can do some calculations as well, where we take an input from one field and then we pre-calculate the input, the value for other fields. You can do that. It's a lot of repeats. There's media. I will send you some other stuff on how to add like pictures from pictures you have to your survey. All right. So I'll show you a couple more on that, but this is, with that done, save this guy. And then once this one is saved, the next thing you want to do is, once it's saved, go over here. The next thing you want to do is you want to click on this publish. So when you click on publish, this is where you are going to publish it to your online, and then you'll be able to see it on your phone. So click on publish, and then now this is going to publish. This is going to take that survey and then push it to your online account, and then you'll be able to see it on your phone. But in this case, you design everything from the Survey123 Connect, and that is how we do it. Okay, so now if I open my phone, I will see the survey. Actually, we forgot to do one thing. See here, it says my survey. We don't want that. We don't want that. So we want to go to settings, and then under settings, if we go to let's see, we don't want maps. I'll show you how to do this guy here. Actually, go back over here. This is where are you? This one here. Hold on. This is actually controlled from here. So on your Excel file, go to the settings, and the word my survey is actually controlled over here. So you can change it and call it campus lights inventory. That's much better. And then when you save it, it's going to change it from the top. And now you can see the title. So I went to the settings. The settings. This is where you can change the thumbnail, the styles. You can go and change the background, but be cautious that your colors changing does not take details out of the map. Here we can set up the initial coordinates. So you want it to fall where you are, where you're going to do the data collection, and you can zoom in to a particular level that will allow people to be able to see where they are, so it doesn't show them the whole world. You can do that. Images, you can specify the sizes of images you want people to be able to take. And then here, the word called inbox. Inbox is very important. When you do the survey, by default, it doesn't allow you to download surveys onto your phone, or you can or to be able to work offline. So you want to come to the inbox, change it to enabled inbox, and then change it to enable inbox, and that will allow you to download data, work offline completely, and then when you get into a connected environment, then you upload it. So do that, and then now let's republish again. So I'll just republish to override the one that I did, and then go ahead, say publish survey, so it will override the one I sent online earlier on, and then all these new changes will be added to my survey. And here, let me open the other software I told you about, the desktop version. So I don't have my phone connected to this recording, but when I open this one here and let's see, there we go. So open it up for me. Once that opens it up, I'll be able to preview that survey in a mobile environment, or you can just open up your phone, open the Survey123 app, and you should see that survey that we just published, and then you can go around and test it out and see how it shows up. So it looks like my machine is not loading it. Yep, it has some errors. So, but if you open up your phone, you should be able to see this. So what I want you to do is use this method to build to build the survey, and then when you are done with that, send me the link to see the one that you've created. So here, if you go back onto your Survey123 website, under my surveys, the one I just published will be up here right now. You can see this is right here. That's the one I just created. So you can go to share and then share that with me, and then I'll be able to see your survey. But I can also come in and take a look at it because I have admin. But that's what I want you to do, and then send me that and let me know you were able to use it to build a real world scenario. Okay. All right. I will do the next video and share with you guys. Thank you.